And it's just weeks after winning their 18th championship. The Celtics are up for sale in what would likely be pretty easily, I would think, a record-breaking NBA transaction. Joining us now, Dan Primack, Axios business editor. The only thing we have, Dan, good to see you. The only thing that we have, I guess, that was actually, we saw it happen, it was monetized, was last year for the Suns at $4 billion. But already we know some teams are valued at a lot more than that. The Celtics could be valued at twice that, couldn't they?
I'm not sure about twice that, but yeah, look, this is the Boston Celtics compared to the Phoenix Suns, an NBA hierarchy. Obviously, the Celtics are a much more storied franchise. One tricky part about the Celtics, though, they don't own their own arena. Actually, the owner of the Boston Bruins owns their arena, which definitely limits the amount of revenue they can get from parking, from beer sales, et cetera. So that is a little bit of a sticking point. But yeah, this is going to be the richest NBA franchise ever, maybe the richest pro sports franchise ever.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. And it's been supposedly not a total surprise. Grossbeck, the family's been thinking about this even before the championship and for months. Why do you think? Because of where the numbers are, or for really it is for estate planning purposes?
I think it's two things. One, it's important to note this really is the Grousbeck family, which only owns around a quarter of the team. So really, even if you were say the team was $4 billion, you're really only putting up $1 billion, right? You don't need all four, which is kind of similar to the Phoenix Suns. That was only about a 30 or 35% stake. Yeah, I'm told he's been talking about it for a few months. Didn't make the final decision until after the championship. He's Wick Grousbeck himself has been spending a little bit more time in New York, has some other interests, has owned the team over 20 years. Even as a part of this, would maintain and still be the so-called governor through 2028. I think he kind of wants to maybe do something new with his life. He's put in the time here. He's enjoyed it. I think he does like holding court at courtside and being in, the fancy club during halftime. But this is a way to provide for his family for generations. He was really that wealthy outside of this, at least as kind of by billionaire standards.
He is now. It is a couple $100 million back in 2002. We know that there are other owners because they come on the show, many of them, and they have big rings on their fingers. Pagliuca comes on, and Glenn comes on. So who else? I don't know how much those guys own. They act like they own it all, but they don't. But I think Pagliuca owns quite a bit, right?
Yeah, Pagliuca was part of the original group. And I think, and we're reporting that Pagliuca has interest in trying to put together a group to buy out Wick's stake. Yeah. Whether he'll be successful or not, I don't know. A lot of the minority owners, Jim Breyer is one of those. He told us on the record yesterday he'd like to be part of a group.
Yeah, I'd like to be part of the group. What do you think I would? What do you think I'd need? I like those seats. What do you think I'd need? Minimum.
Well, look, I'll say this publicly on your network. I'm good for like $5 or $6 grand. So if someone wants to bring me in on this, I'm happy to
That's what I'm thinking. We could buy one courtside seat, and I could see the first. Yeah, it's a one game, and I could see like the first couple of quarters. You could see we could switch maybe. That's about all we could get, Dan. But we're never going to own a team or a Soutine. I don't think. Dan, it's fun to watch, and it was a great year. And you know what? Tatum put away a lot of the naysayers, did he not? I mean,
he did. Can I add, Joe? Just for a potential buyer, he not only put away naysayers, he also got the biggest NBA contract ever yesterday. And whoever's going to buy this team is also about to assume the biggest salary load in the history of the NBA. It's an extraordinary amount of money you're going to be paying those 12 guys.
Are these Sorkin type numbers?